Okay, let me preface this by saying that I'm not an attorney and this is not legal advice. If you need a legal advice, seek an attorney. All I'm telling you is how I deal with legal trouble. Okay, dealing with the mask situation. Jasper, the city of Jasper has issued a mask mandate. Supposedly, they're going to start fining you. Could be up to $500. And I think Mama Ivy just extended the mandate for masks. But yeah, you probably ask yourself, how can government do this? How can government control the people? Well, government is not controlling the people. They cannot control the people. They can through ignorance, but what they're doing is controlling. You're being controlled with words. The mandate, the orders, does not say is not referring to you. If you read it, it reads no persons or person. Okay, going back to your being controlled by words, the legal society has their own dictionaries, and when you go to court, they're opened up either Bouvier's or Black's Law Dictionary. Okay, if a word is defined in that dictionary, then it doesn't mean what you think it means. Because the same state of Alabama that's trying to control you now with these mandates and orders and fines and everything, that's the same state that educated you, or excuse me, indoctrinated you for 12, 14 years, 16 if you went to college. And the same state. So it's not in their interest to let you know what's going on and to tell you what they're doing. So they have different dictionaries. Like I said, if it's defined in that dictionary, it doesn't mean what you think it means. So when you look in a legal dictionary, I think at last count, I think there were 7 volumes. Uh, a person is defined as a corporation. So Walmart is a person. Uh, you know, Another definition is of a person is uh, a man that subscribes to a particular society or belief, like the legal society. So if you the word person comes from the term persona, meaning to wear a mask, and that's in I don't like I say there's 7 volumes. I can't remember which one I read that out of, but what they're dealing with is contract law, and in contract, it must be expressed, not implied. So if there's 6 different definitions to a word, and then they're they're implying that person, it refers to you, but it's got to be expressed. So the Constitution reads, "We the people," and God created. And if you read the Bible, and I don't care what you say, the Bible is, I mean, it's the basis of all of our laws, and most of it comes from Deuteronomy or something. Basically, it comes from the Deuteronomy. Okay, so I this is how I deal with it, and it goes back to speeding tickets. Driving, the term driving is defined as one employed. Driving is defined as one employed in conducting a coach, carriage wagon, or other conveyance. The term driving goes all the way back to the cattle days. Driving cattle, you're getting paid. If you're not getting paid, you're not driving. Some say travel. I just refuse. I don't even use that word. I just say I'm going from I'm in my property going from point A to point B. And law boils down to property and trespass. So my last traffic violation that I got pulled over for was no seatbelt. I wear my seatbelt. I mean, I had just pulled out on the road. I reached into my wallet. I took it off, and the cop was sitting there, and he saw me without it on. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Problem is, it doesn't apply to me. I just took the ticket. I give him my information. I have a commercial driver's license. I use it when I'm driving commercially, which is hardly never. But I do have a commercial driver's license. I was not engaged in the regular act of transportation when I got pulled over for the no seatbelt. I was in my personal property. I gave him my license. I gave him my insurance, and he gave me the ticket. All I did was I went to the courthouse, go to the clerk's office, and you have to do this in writing. You don't speak in court. If you speak in court, you've already lost. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Not might be, could be. It can and it will be used against you because you don't understand. You think you know what they're saying, but they have different definitions And they go to school for 4 years. You've never been to school for this, so you don't know unless you just stumble across it like me and take an interest in it and study. But you go to the clerk's office, and like I said, law boils down to property and trespass. If you get, this is how I would handle it. I'm not giving you legal advice, but if I were, please give me a ticket for no mask, because it's going to read the statute or the order is going to read person. I'm not a person, so I go to court. I go to the clerk's office. I write. The less you write, the better off you are. You have to rebut the presumptions. They're under the presumption that you're a person. So just off the top of my head, and I wrote this at the spur of the moment at the counter, and then turned this in, and had my traffic ticket dismissed. And it said, and use your upper and lowercase name. Don't write it out in all capital letters like they do. The person that they're referring to on your driver's license, on anything to do with commerce, your bank cards, your debit cards, any kind of mail you get in the mail from a bill, anything to do with business, you're going to have your name in all capital letters. That's the person that they're after. Some call it the straw man, but that's your person. Okay. When that's a fiction, and the only time you will ever be laying there and your name in all capital letters, and that's actually you, it will be your body on your tombstone. Your name will be in all capital letters. Otherwise, you spell your name upper and lowercase. So I wrote 2 simple paragraphs from memory. It was I, Paul Marshall Robbins, being an honorable man, claim a trespass on my person and request a preliminary hearing to settle this matter in private before taking it into the public. And then I wrote the traffic ticket number, the date, and a phone number that I could be contacted. Never had to make a court appearance. It was simply dismissed. They didn't want me in there. They've already had me in there once when I did it a different way. There's different ways. There's so many ways I think I can beat this, and so far I'm 2-0. I might fail the next time trying it a different way, but I'm gonna try different ways, because to me it doesn't. I mean, I told the prosecutor on the first time. He said, what we're gonna do about this. I said, are you the prosecutor? He said, yeah. I said, I'm not making a deal. I'm not paying this. It doesn't apply to me. He goes back to the judge. Long story short, case dismissed. And so this court in particular, they've already had dealings with me, and I'm pretty sure they said this is the same. You don't want him back in here. So, they dismissed it. But it basically boils down, you're being controlled words. The statute reads, no person shall, no persons. They're controlling you with words. You're not a person. You're a man. Some say people. I avoid that word. It's just simple to boil it. Just go back to the basics, to the beginning. In the beginning, God created man. Then you read a few more paragraphs that said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was with God. And then you skip a couple paragraphs over into Genesis after God created man. So and the Elohim, which is the gods, plural, they said, come, let us go down and confuse their language, for if we don't, nothing will be impossible to them. Our language comes from the ancient phonetic Phoenicians, which is the land of Canaan. That's why we talk on the phone and we're hooked on phonics. You're being controlled words. Our words have multiple meanings. That's by design. It's a language of confusion. I saw a blue lady. Was she, did she have a bucket of blue paint dumped on her, or was she sad? Yellow, is that a coward or is that a color? With it, you're being controlled words. Learn how to move a court. You don't speak. You go into court and you speak, you already lost. You do it in writing through the clerk's office. Have everything, that time, date stamp, entered into the record, into the case file. You have to do this. You have to give them, I think it's 3 days before the court appearance. This has got to, give the prosecutor time to have a rebuttal or have an answer to, so you have to do this in a timely manner. Uh, but the reason, I've had this information for a long time, and I didn't come up with this. I mean, some of this I found, I studied, but a lot of this comes from people like Carl Lentz. I can't remember some of these guys' names on the spot. I should have made a, I'm doing this on spur of the moment, no notes. Uh, but you're being controlled words. Just learn who you are. You are a man. A woman or a man. Still a woman is a man. It's mankind, man. Okay, you are man. There's a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, you have the Creator or God, and God created man. Man is on the next level. Man said, okay, we need to have some type of government. So, man created government on the next level. Well, government sat down here at the bottom, and they're like, we have nobody control. It rolls downhill. God created. It can't go uphill. Man can't control God or the Creator. It don't. It goes downhill. So man created government. Government looks around, who we're going to control. We have nobody. So government created something called person. And if you go to court in the capacity of a person, then you've already lost. They have control of you, or jurisdiction. Jurisdiction simply means control in law. Uh, so do your paperwork. Go to court in the capacity of a man and not a person. Government can't. Our government was created. We didn't. Man would not create something that would control him. So government is subjected to man, not man subject to government. So if you know who you are and you do the paperwork, and don't be intimidated. I mean, this is if you're scared, that if you have fear, they're going to smell it, and they're going to, if you don't believe what you're writing, or what if you don't believe it, they're going to smell that fear, and they're not going to, they're going to test you. But I go in, I'm vocal to the point. I'm standing at the bar, which is where the gate is. I'm not licensed to go past the bar, but I'm standing at the bar, and I'm vocal. The people in the back of the room can hear me, and I want them to hear me. I'm speaking from my gut. I'm very boisterous. I want everybody to hear, because out of 50, 30, 40 people in there that's getting fleeced, maybe one of them, their ears will perk up and they say, "What's he saying?" Let me look into this. And I know that 19 out of 20 are going to think I'm stupid, but when you get your case dismissed, and as I did, and I walk out of the courtroom feeling like $1 million, because I'm like, the first time I was like, man, I can't believe this worked. And I felt like I just slayed Goliath. I left the courtroom and had an attorney chase me down the hall, holler at me, "Excuse me, sir." And he come up to me and said, "Excuse me, are you an attorney?" I said, "No, I'm a coal miner." He said, "How did you know all that?" I said, I got word, and I started studying. He said, "I want to congratulate you." He said, "Not many Americans know what you did in there." He said, that's amazing." He said, "If you have any questions, call, anyways." So I knew then that I was onto something. And if you want to know more about this, look up Carl Lentz. I mean, you can read the comments, and there's people saying, "Oh, this guy's an idiot." But I'm telling you, I've tried it. It worked. When the people that I've heard that say they tried his technique and it didn't work, when I ask them questions through Messenger, or I find out they did not do what he said. They did not follow. They didn't do it. They didn't follow his process. And it's not that, okay. It is more to it than Carl lets on, because if it wasn't, he wouldn't have 6,000 videos, 2 or 3 hours a piece. But it basically boils down to property and trespass. I claim a trespass on my property. All right. When you go to court, the ticket you get, speeding ticket, anything, that's a complaint. In court, a claim trumps a claim trumps a complaint. So when I wrote, "I, Paul Marshall Robbins, claim a trespass on my person," then I the way it was taught to me and the way I believe it and the way it worked for me was I took control of the court. That's my courtroom. Because I as a man, first off, there's no other men in there. Everybody else has showed up as a person. So I'm the only man that showed up to court. Probably the first man showed up to court in 10 years. And I also took control of the court because they're in there answering complaints. I'm the only one with a claim. I made a claim, and I rebutted the presumption that I was a person, and I made my, I don't know if I want to say appearance, but I showed up to court as a man, and the whole thing is satanic. That's why you appear. The only thing that can appear is a ghost. The judge is in a freaking costume, a gown, like he's conducting the seance. You walk in, all rise. And then you have to appear, like magically appear. And then if you lose, who do you pay? You pay Baal. If you read the Bible, you know the Baal, they sacrifice kids. And I mean, Baal is a demon. I mean, yeah, it's all satanic. They can't control you except through ignorance and fear. So learn who you are, do your paperwork, and don't. I'm not worried about it. I have yet to wear a mask except for doctor's appointments and courthouses, because it's just easier to go in with a mask and get your car tag. I mean, but I don't wear a mask if I go to eat. Applebee's is what's the word? Applebee's was really pushy with the mask thing. I walked in. Oh, you have to wear a mask. You got to wear a mask. I said, I got a medical exemption. Well, then they jumped on the people that was with me, and I said, they've got medical exemptions, But anyways, oh yeah, I tell them I've got a medical exemption that they have to drop it. If they don't, that's a whole can of worms for them. But anyways, learn who you are. Do your paperwork. Keep your mouth shut in court. Watch Carl Lentz. And through watching Carl Lentz, you find some other people to watch. And I'm sorry I don't have the names for them, but I can't think of them. But anyways, good luck. God bless America. And I love you. Thank you.